Welcome back to the Healthy Skin Coach Show. I'm Takashi, your host, helping you get clear skin and preaching to the world why food is the ultimate medicine. Today, I have a very, very special guest. His name is Dr. Ameet Aggarwal, and he is a Canadian qualified naturopathic doctor and a psychotherapist, and he was voted top 5 in 3 world summits and considered one of the top 43 practitioners of 2016. He's written the book, Heal Your Body and Cure Your Mind, which is an amazing book all about how the body and the mind are interconnected in terms of health and well-being. So I'm really excited to have him here on the podcast today. Thank you, Ameet.
Thanks for the introduction. Greetings from Kenya, everyone. Hey, Takashi, how did you find out about me?
So what I did was I've been fascinated by inflammation, and I just Googled inflammation and in Amazon actually for books, and your book came up. I did inflammation and gut health, and your book came up. So I reached out to a bunch of authors to do podcasts with them. And that's how I reached out to you.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. Wow. Fantastic. Why are you fascinated with it? Are you a doctor as well? You're a practitioner or some
No,
sort?
so I actually have a very interesting story. Last year, I was debilitated with eczema, as in like bleeding all over my bed and just dry flakes of big skin. And I'm like, why is this happening to me? I'm young. And I've always had eczema, but never this bad. Never. And I'm like, there's got to be a better reason. I hated going to the doctors, and I've probably been prescribed over 20 steroid creams in my lifetime. And it's just, this is not the answer. Like this is not the answer. Triamcinolone is not the answer, right? And so I studied for months just the science behind healthy skin and eczema and acne and psoriasis and food and gut health and leaky gut and the microbiome, the gut microbiome and the skin microbiome. And I'm like, wow, doctors and dermatologists never tell you these things. I'm convinced half the dermatologists don't know what I know. And they and that's the problem with Western medicine, is just they're too focused on giving drugs to solve the problem. You're not solving the cause. And then that's why I started the coaching business, is to I want to help people. And eventually, like I publicly stated that I want to eradicate eczema in my lifetime by providing the proper coaching and education to people.
Awesome. So you're in the States. How does it work in the States? So you're considered like a health coach or something, right?
I'm a nutritionist. I'm an uncertified, self-taught nutritionist. Yeah.
And no one gets, like, you're not attacked by the government for saying you're a nutritionist if you're not a certified nutritionist. Like, do they have laws there, or I don't even know how to work?
No, I can say I'm a nutritionist. I don't claim to be a certified nutritionist.
And, brilliant. So it's not a protected title or anything like that then?
No. And I have my clients all sign, liability waivers. Yeah, I mean, if my clients want to go see PhD doctors to get steroid creams, that's all of them. Like I get, potential clients are like, oh, but you're not a doctor, so you can't give medical advice. Well, then, yeah, go ahead and go get your steroid creams. I'm
so curious how you do that then. Okay. Sorry, I just because my sister's in the States, right? And she's a bit, whatever, she's stuck at home.
Mm-hmm.
So when these people sign a liability thing, because I'm sending her clients and stuff, what do they sign exactly? They sign that they know you're not a certified nutritionist? Is that what you say? No.
They know I'm not a doctor, and I'm not. I only provide nutritional advice, and nutritional and skincare advice, and they sign away all
liabilities and
and
they indemnify you from any harm, etc.
I don't practice medicine, so if you need to go see a doctor, go see a doctor by all means. I only provide advice from my experience and what I know, and that's it.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Well, what are you doing in Kenya right now?
So I was born here, and then I came back from my studies in Canada to start mobile clinics for poor communities. We're driving around in a Jeep and giving out homeopathic remedies to people who don't have healthcare. And then, of course, ran out of funding. So I'm trying to self-fund by selling my book and my online course. And so when that sells enough, I can go back and do the community work. And so, yeah, I do a mixture of online sessions and private clinic practice, some community work, et cetera, et cetera. A mix of everything.
Got it. Could you just give a little bit of background on how you kind of came to become a naturopathic doctor in your career background?
I was an engineer first, actually. So it's never too late to change your career. And I could, honestly speaking, I could feel energy and I could work with people energetically. Like I could remove headaches from my girlfriend without touching her, things like that. Yeah. And I was always fascinated with pressure points and herbs and stuff. I met a naturopath out in Kenya. We were doing mobile clinics in remote communities. So I volunteered with her. And that started off my passion for community work. And I found out about naturopathic medicine. So I zipped off back to Canada and studied naturopathic medicine and Gestalt psychotherapy. So I combine naturopathic medicine and psychotherapy, Gestalt, family constellations, EMDR, trauma release, and never looked back. So my book and online course are about mental health as well as holistic health, gut health, liver health, adrenal fatigue, because it's important to combine healing the emotions, healing the mind, and also healing the gut, removing inflammation. If you only do one or the other, you only get about 50 or 80% better, depending on what your root causes of health issues are, right? And if you have significant trauma, of course, or a lot of stress during childhood and adulthood, then it's really important to also heal the traumatic memories and the information in the limbic system of your brain.
Yeah, past traumas, I always say, create knots. As you add on more traumas in life, the knot gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and that can cause more stress. It can cause more inflammation inside the body, and that plays a huge role in the overall health, definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. So healing the mind and the body is really an easy thing to do once you know how they're interconnected, and we'll talk about that during the seminar today.
Yeah, let's talk about your book, Heal Your Body, Cure Your Mind. How long did it take for you to write the book?
Gosh, I would say on and off about 3 years. I think 3 to 5. I can't remember well. I was doing it part-time because I was focusing on just basically fundraising for my charity. And then I don't like fundraising, I'll be honest. I prefer to give somebody something back in exchange for what they're giving me for the community work. So hopefully when I sell enough copies of the book, then I can do the community work. So you can support me by getting the book or my online course, which is a lot of information in my book, but my exact protocols on how to heal the gut, the liver, the adrenal system, and your emotions. So my videos have the exact protocols I use.
Got it. To the billions of people watching this and listening, make sure you get his book on Amazon right now. Go get it.
And the online course.
And the online course to support his cause. Awesome. All right.
Thank you.
So, what has been the biggest challenge of your career?
There's so many things. One is burnout for sure. The book is in 5 languages now, getting the online course going, trying to, I guess, keep the mobile clinics going or putting them on pause while I raise funds. All that, it creates emotional conflict inside. Yeah. It's like, what's your true purpose? Because I do a lot of psychotherapy as well, and I love doing that. So really balance, I think, balancing psychotherapy and community work. And yeah, I don't know. It's almost like I see challenges as growth opportunities or cleansing the cupboard. It's like something's a challenge, maybe because it doesn't resonate with your path in life. So it helps you readjust your intention and your mind, and then the challenges disappear once you clear your way and clear your mind.
Yeah.
So maybe it's about getting clear.
Are you on all social medias?
Yeah, so I'm out there. I have a huge following. My online course has been approved for CE credits for nutritionists, dietitians, and naturopaths out there. My book's been a bestseller on Amazon about, I don't know, 10 times already. Got a new book out on liver detox herbs and supplements, which goes really well with the first book. So things are going well. I'm on multiple seminars all the time. People have been very helpful. So I'm blessed in a way.
Awesome.
And I'm on your podcast as well, which is awesome. So thank you.
Yeah. I hope this podcast will propel you to the next level.
Fantastic. Thank you.
uh, Looking back, do you have any memorable client stories or experiences?
Yeah, so I do family constellations therapy as well as psychotherapy and the whole naturopathic protocols. Very memorable experiences of healing the emotions to create a physical healing in the body. So, of course, most people are healing their gut and detoxifying the liver using probiotics, etc. And sometimes there's an emotional cause for their physical health problems. And so I have a couple of clients where we've released a lot of trauma, got them to shout or beat a pillow or say certain sentences, depending on how I feel energetically, what they're going through. Say certain sentences in order to release the stuck emotion. And when the stuck emotion gets released, then either the ulcers will stop in the stomach or the skin will clear sometimes as well. Or like I had one client who had eczema after her parents went into conflict. Yeah, I think they were almost divorcing or something like that, and that emotional stress created a conflict. And so we can heal those conflicts as well with psychotherapy, with homeopathy. And when you heal those conflicts, then the body readjusts itself as well, because remember, your brain controls and your mind controls your physiology. The mind and body are one. We often say they're separate, but they're not. There's that. In family constellations, I've had people recognize their real position in the family system. So if somebody's mother had an abortion or a miscarriage before they were born, then it's important for that aborted child to be acknowledged, the missing child to be acknowledged. And if you're the second child, or well, if you think you're the first child in the system, it's very important for you to understand that you're the second child in the system, not the first. And by acknowledging that, a lot of anxiety and depression disappears. So I've had multiple clients heal chronic health issues, especially emotional traumas and just emotional states, by healing stuff in their family system, either letting go of responsibility that belongs to their mother, or giving back the pain that the mother carries because she was abused or entangled with an alcoholic father. And the child, out of loyalty, bonds with the mom to try and rescue the mom. So the child stops being the child and becomes like the parent to the parent. And that messes up the biology, the physiology, the mentality at a very subconscious level, and it sabotages relationships. It gives chronic low-grade anxiety to the person. It brings sadness, depression, and the person doesn't know why, and they're on medication their whole life. And when you get them to feel that, okay, you know what, mom is an adult. She belongs to her path in life and can take on and heal what she needs to heal. And you were brought in as a child to the system, not to fix the parent. And go back to your place as the child. Remember what your life is as the child to these parents. These people get their power back. The depression lifts. A lot of things shift with family constellations therapy.
Wow.
One of my favorite therapies in the world.
Wow. Yeah. Sounds very powerful. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some common themes that you've picked up on when you are practicing naturopathic medicine?
Gosh, everything from anxiety, depression, hormonal imbalance, a lot of skin issues, psoriasis, eczema, psoriasis after sexual abuse, psoriasis after, stuff with their parents as well, a lot of digestive issues. So physical issues related to gut health, as well as food and diet, and also issues related to emotional trauma and stress, both physical health issues as well as anxiety and depression. I've had wonderful cases of OCD resolve, using homeopathy, using diet and diet changes and nutritional supplements. People are washing their hands a lot, or afraid to step on the floor, or afraid of getting contaminated by germs. So this is all coming from an imbalance of neurotransmitters or previous trauma or generational trauma. And when you understand the pattern in a person's life, you can easily heal these things and give them back their life.
Yeah, the past traumas can definitely create more stress and cortisol to build up in the body, which causes inflammation. Um, and I noticed that my clients will always say some traumatic event or some stressful event caused their problem. And
Absolutely.
that's what happens is when your sympathetic nervous system becomes on overdrive and your fight response it just won't turn off, and then your adrenal glands are constantly just producing cortisol, and that those stress levels are just building up inside. So
Right. Also unresolved. You see what happens is unresolved trauma stays in the limbic system. So present day stress triggers those old traumas. So you're hyper responsive to life. And there's so much stress from that right now. Cell phones, deadlines, financial issues, marital issues, etc. So you're right. The adrenal glands are on overdrive and they get exhausted. Then you get into a cortisol imbalance. And when that happens, actually, your thyroid levels start dropping and your gut, so you have this gut with a nice lining, and when that gets damaged and with holes in it, you get leaky gut and toxins go into the bloodstream.
mm-hmm.
So tying that back to cortisol levels, when your cortisol levels are out of balance, then the thyroid levels in your gut are down, are less, right? And so thyroid hormone is needed for these cells to stick together in your gut. So when your thyroid hormones are less, then the gut becomes more leaky as well. So there's multiple causes for leaky gut.
Mm-hmm.
And so adrenal stress causes cortisol imbalance, thyroid level imbalance, then leaky gut. And that's why people's eczema and health conditions flare up when they're stressed. So by resolving trauma, healing your emotions as well, and feeling less stressed over time and less triggered, then you're less prone also to leaky gut. So it's not only about changing the diet and probiotics, it's also about healing the emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I combine everything when I help clients. And
Awesome.
when I had my huge flare up last year, it was a combination of leaky gut from eating the wrong foods and stress from having my phone and wallet stolen. So all my credit cards, my IDs, all that stolen at a concert,
Right.
and that triggered my body to just have so much inflammation inside that I was getting eczema all over. Let's talk about leaky gut, because I'm convinced that so many people have it and they just don't know. And then they experience so many symptoms, whether that's in the skin or joints or muscles or mental fatigue. And there's so many medical conditions can come from leaky gut.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so you have a stomach and intestines, and your intestines are like a nice tube, a nice lining, right? Kept healthy by good bacteria and good food.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, with antibiotic use, poor diet, etc., this lining gets damaged. The good bacteria get killed off. And when that happens, then the cells become more leaky, and then toxins go into the bloodstream and cause inflammation everywhere. Your gut lining also has a lot of immune cells, right? And so when that mucosa gets damaged, these immune cells get activated by all the stuff that's going into your gut, and that causes chronic inflammation everywhere. And then all that inflammation then goes to the liver. So when that happens, your liver becomes more toxic and stagnant, and it produces less bile. When it produces less bile, you get more gas, bloating, constipation, and a worsening of leaky gut. So the cycle goes on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people focus on leaky gut. However, in my online course and in my book, I show you how to heal the liver with specific herbs and homeopathic remedies. Especially the online course has very specific homeopathic remedies. And by healing the liver and detoxifying the liver, you have less toxicity. Then you also help the gut repair well, because remember, your liver produces bile, which creates the right environment for your probiotics, your good bacteria, to flourish in your gut.
Mm-hmm.
And if your liver is not producing enough bile because it's intoxicated or all clogged up, then your probiotics will not flourish. Yeah. And then you'll get leaky gut no matter what type of stuff you're taking. So always remember to heal your liver alongside with your gut.
Yep. Great points. One of my clients have found out he has a severe wheat sensitivity, and I was looking into it, and about 10% of the population is sensitive to gluten. And are you aware of the zonulin proteins in gluten?
Not those specific proteins, but I know like there's a lot of gluten sensitivity and phthalate sensitivity as well. Glyphosate, sorry.
Yeah, there's really interesting new studies coming out that zonulin proteins are what causes the leakiness of the gut. Or for me, what caused my initial big flare-up was sausage pizza. And I found out I'm sensitive to red meat, gluten, and dairy. So like the trifecta of inflammatory foods all compacted in one. And then I actually found out tea was the most sensitive food for my body. So I was drinking 3 to 5 glasses of tea every single day, thinking it was anti-inflammatory. But the combination of like the tea leaves and caffeine was actually making me
Oh
worse,
God.
worse and worse. And I had no idea. So until I cut that out, I would have had eczema forever.
No doubt. Well done. My God. What an amazing recovery.
Yeah. And now I take now I'm super obsessed with healing my gut and repopulating the healthy bacteria inside my gut. So I take a probiotic as well. I take it's a skin probiotic called Skinessa. And shout out to them. I know the founder, and you can get some on my website. But yeah, it contains strains like Bifidobacterium lactis and longum, and Lactobacillus casei and rhamnosus that have been proven in clinical studies to help improve skin quality, and um, and it reduced the SCORAD index in a lot of the research. What are your thoughts on taking psychedelics for depression and emotional trauma?
The psychedelics are an interesting realm. I've experimented with them in the past. I don't do them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
For emotional trauma, a lot of people are using low dose psychedelics, especially psilocybin, to heal their trauma, and people are seeing good results with it, as long as it's done with qualified people. If you think you can take a high dose and recover from trauma and everything, you can get re-traumatized. Yeah. Low dose psychedelics, I know, are being used for it. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. Yeah. Because it works, my belief is it works by basically readjusting the mindset. Yeah. So when you're hallucinating, or not necessarily hallucinating, but when you're under the influence of psychedelics, your frame of mind, your frame of reference shifts. You're not projecting onto the world in the same way that you're used to doing, because you have an altered perception and you have an altered sense of reality. And that's a beautiful feeling for some people. And that altered sense of reality gives your brain a chance to rewire itself and not continuously program itself to expect the worst based on previous traumatic experiences. So you might get a different shift or perspective on how you relate to yourself or how you relate to the traumatic memory, etc. And that's what psychotherapy does as well in some way, is give you a paradigm shift on how you relate to the events in your life and to yourself and to the people around you. And just by changing the way you relate to things, it gives you a whole different aha moments, like, wow. And that suddenly untangles knots in your nervous system, in your mind, because you're not holding on to that fear response. And suddenly you're free, and then you don't get attacked while you're being free. Then your body feels safer and safer over time. Then you come out of that traumatic state. And so I believe that's how psychedelics work. And the thing is, though, in I guess spiritual medicine, well, there's a lot of psychedelics in spiritual medicine as well. Some people who see auras, they see that people who've taken a lot of drugs, though, have dark pockets or clouds in their aura. But maybe that's from really heavy drug use and abusing drugs and not doing it in the right way. Yeah, especially with heavy things like cocaine and heroin, etc. Those create a lot of dark clouds in the aura and contribute to depression, suicide, etc. I believe now, if you're prone to psychotic episodes and bipolar and stuff like that, you have to be careful with psychedelics, right? I don't know if there's enough research done on using psychedelics to heal trauma in psychiatric patients. I don't know that. I know it's being used for just normal anxiety and depression. I'm curious to see whether people recover from strong psychiatric illness
Mm-hmm.
with psychedelics.
Yeah, I have a friend who suffered from debilitating ulcerative colitis, and it was either get surgery and remove his colon or do something else. And he found a administrator who gave him 5-MeO DMT, and which is a very powerful psychedelic. And that doctor told him that he had too much cortisol inside his body, which was causing inflammation. And the 5-MeO DMT helped to reduce it. And so now he's symptom free. And now he goes around preaching the use of psychedelics.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
And does he still have to use the DMT, or he doesn't need it anymore because he's resolved the traumatic stuff in his mind?
Yeah, he doesn't use it anymore.
Yeah, it proves the point, right? That a lot of physical illness could be due to emotional stress and traumatic memories, right? And relating to life in a very stressful way. And if you're given the chance to readjust your mindset and come out of negative thinking, stressful mode of operation, etc., physical stuff is going to heal.
Well, what are some of the common misconceptions about your practice when people come up to you and ask questions?
Well, some people think all herbs are safe and there's no side effects, but if you take too much of one herb, it can be toxic to you. So you have to be careful and do it under supervision from a good naturopathic doctor. Also, there's herbal drug interactions, and naturopaths are trained in both pharmacology as well as herbal medicine, so we understand how to combine the two. Other misconceptions: some people think homeopathy is a placebo, which it's not. I mean, it's used all over the world. It's actually being used very successfully with a lot of coronavirus cases at the moment as well.
Hmm.
Um, but they can't talk about it because then they get shut down, of course. But in the homeopathic community, we know people who are recovering from coronavirus using homeopathy. It's used all over India. The Indian government has actually promoted homeopathy as, what do you call it, prophylaxis for coronavirus. WHO recognized as a medical science. So just get rid of that belief that homeopathy is placebo. It's not. I've used on my mobile clinics with great success, and it's affordable medicine. It works fantastically well. It treats the root cause. Yeah, so as long as you can keep yourself healthy and instead of suppressing symptoms, I think you're in the right way.
Hmm. And let's kind of get into that. So comparing Western and Eastern medicine, what are some of the differences in your opinion, and why do you prefer one or the other?
A lot of Western medicine is focused on suppressing symptoms, right? And it's not bad in a way that it saves lives. And sometimes you need a strong medical intervention because sometimes herbal medicine or homeopathy doesn't work fast enough, depending on the practitioner. Anesthesias and stuff like that. Unless you're a master of qigong and acupuncture, you might need anesthesia when going into surgery. So it has its plus points. What I love about holistic medicine is that it aims to treat the root cause. So, for example, if you have eczema, arthritis, whatever, it's come from inflammation. The root cause is usually the diet, the foods you're eating that are damaging the gut lining and promoting leaky gut. And naturopaths and holistic practitioners and health coaches like yourself are very much into healing the gut, removing the inflammatory foods, right? And when you do that, not only do you heal the skin or the joints or whatever, you actually promote long-term health for the person. So things that they weren't expecting to heal, like mental health issues, also disappears. So treating the root cause and supporting the person's vitality makes much more sense for me. And that's what holistic medicine or Eastern medicine is about. I
Definitely.
don't like calling it Eastern or Western because I know Native American people have beautiful herbs as well in their traditions, and they're in the West. Yeah. So it's more allopathic versus maybe traditional medicine.
Yeah. What is your favorite organ and why?
So, well, I'm known around the world, I guess, for the liver.
Yep.
I talk a lot about the liver. I'm always treating the liver because I find that's the root cause of many health issues. My new book is on the liver as well. My online course has all of these remedies on the liver. So liver, 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 liver. Heart disease, cancer, skin issues, everything can be connected to the liver
Mm.
because you see, your liver produces bile. It detoxifies your body. It activates your immune cells. It controls hormone regulation. So when you have a stagnant liver, you'll often have PMS symptoms, fibroids, ovarian cysts, and you go into progesterone deficiency, estrogen imbalance, and that contributes to certain types of cancers as well. So by healing the liver, you detoxify the body, you reduce inflammation, so you get rid of a lot of chronic diseases. You bring back hormonal imbalance, so you have less fibroids, PMS symptoms, breast tenderness, cramping, bloating, etc. You can probably improve your chances of fighting cancer, I believe, by healing your liver because you bring your hormones back into more balance and you detoxify all this junk that can create cancer. Inflammatory damage to your blood vessels. When you have too much inflammation, you damage your blood vessels, then you get plaque formation, which creates heart disease and atherosclerosis. So one is healing the gut and reducing inflammation, but number two is detoxifying your liver because also your liver controls the absorption and excretion of LDL and all your cholesterol, all the bad cholesterol. Well, bad is the wrong word, but just the LDL cholesterol. And so when you reduce inflammation and clean your liver out, your LDL levels go down and you have less damage to your blood vessels because you have less inflammation. So liver is the master organ in Chinese medicine. We call it the master organ. And it's the seat of the soul in certain traditions and certain cultures. So liver is probably my favorite organ, although I'm tempted to say there is no favorite organ because we're all one. You know, Western or allopathic medicine has compartmentalized. And when you understand that the whole system works as a whole, and the liver and the gut are all synergistic and they talk to each other as one entity, including with the mind, then yeah, the human and the soul is one beautiful organ.
Great answer. If you could take your favorite food and your favorite herb on an island, what would you choose?
Oh God. Favorite food is mangoes, but it's not the best food for you. Bitter foods is fantastic. So rocket, arugula, all that stuff, fantastic for the liver as well. I love baobab powder because it's good in vitamin C and it has a lot of minerals, and so it supports you. It's a good food to have. My favorite herb, I love turmeric. One, it heals the liver. Two, it reduces inflammation. Three, it boosts your immune system. I'm tempted to say liver herb, like milk thistle. But if I'm stuck on an island with nothing else, I think I'll be healthy enough not to need so much milk thistle and stick with the turmeric.
I would have chosen turmeric as well. So right now we have a global pandemic going on. What are your opinions on it, and how naturopathic medicine can help the cytokine storms that are happening within the patients, and which is causing them to die instead of the virus itself? It's more of the body's response and the inflammation that's causing people to die.
So I've made a whole video on this. You can go to my website, health.drameet.com. I presume you'll be posting the link somewhere, on basically immune boosting and immune modulating remedies for viral infections. So the key thing is you need T regulator cells, and those are found in the gut. They help modulate your immune system so you don't go into excessive cytokine production. So healing the gut with probiotics and stuff like that, and removing inflammatory foods, already keeps your body less inflamed and less likely to go into self-damaging reactions. Then NAC has been used in previous influenza cases to reduce cytokine inflammation in the lungs and lung damage. A lot of people are using homeopathy, like I said. Just prevention is the key thing. Keep your immune system strong. See, there's a whole confusion out there. They're thinking if you keep your immune system strong, you're going to have more of a cytokine storm. But it seems like it's not the case, actually, because when you have a healthy immune system, you're not going to go into overdrive per se. You're actually going to fight the virus when it's in small numbers. The key thing is you want to prevent it from multiplying to a point where there's such a large number that your body does go into a cytokine storm. So the healthier your immune system is in the beginning, the less likely, I believe, this is my opinion, I don't know how true it is, that you'll have to wait till the research comes out, is the less likely you will go into a cytokine storm, right? And then some people are taking anti-inflammatories like quercetin and turmeric as well to help reduce the cytokine storm. So I've listed all the remedies there on the website that you can take for immune modulation and helping basically modulate inflammation as well.
Yeah. Ever since healing from severe eczema, I'm super focused on an anti-inflammatory diet. I view foods as, will this increase inflammation or decrease inflammation in my body? So
Brilliant.
I'm like,
Absolutely.
okay, that's going to increase cytokines and TNF in my body, and leukotrienes and prostaglandins. I'm going to stay away.
Yeah.
That's how I view the world now. And every time I see people eating, I'm like, will that increase TNF in my body?
Yeah, and our primitive ancestors had this knowledge innately in them. You know, they would avoid certain foods and eat certain foods because they would eat the herbs. So it wasn't only for satisfaction. Food was medicine. You know, food was medicine, and we ate with purpose, intentionally, consciously. And so people associate choosing healthy foods as more stressful now, thinking, oh, they're going out of the comfort zone, where in actuality, you're actually returning to a more normal way of being based on how our ancestors were.
Yeah. And I was talking to one person who needed surgery, and she started taking vitamin D pills during this quarantine and saw her symptoms lessen. And vitamin D is a very powerful anti-inflammatory vitamin and antioxidant. So
Mhm.
that's one reason.
Vitamin D is super important. They're showing, yeah, low vitamin D is more related to high morbidity. Vitamin D also helps promote T regulatory cells, the regulation immune cells in your gut. Vitamin D helps with gut repair as well. You know, helps improve the environment in your gut so your probiotics can be healthier. It's anti-inflammatory. It works like magic.
Yeah,
Works like magic.
and the statistic is like probably 90%. It was 90% or more are insufficient or deficient in vitamin D in America, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But that's why I do a jog around the neighborhood with my shirt off whenever it's sunny, and get just
Sweet.
15 minutes of sun that's all vitamin D you need for the day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So where can the viewers and listeners find you? On what
So
platform?
my online course and free video course, I have a free video course on health.drameet.com. Dr. Ameet is DRAMEET, drameet.com. So just sign up there. It'll walk you through a free course on how to heal your gut, liver, etc. And then please sign up for the full program, which will support my community outreach here in Kenya, and will also help you with my exact protocols on healing the gut, liver, emotional release, stress release, trauma release, etc. And yeah, I wish you well with your health and happiness and trauma release as well.
Thank you so much. If you're listening and watching, I'll put the links down below and check out his website. Thank you, Dr. Ameet, so much for joining the podcast.
Ciao, Takashi.
Yeah,
Thank you very
stay
much.
safe and stay quarantined. Peace.
Peace, man.